Top of the afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're outside the shop. We're doing a little saw off session, if you will. We have an Echo 7310-P, no W yet, of course, and we have a pretty cherry 272 Husqvarna over on the side, and I am going to talk to the neighbor for a second. So back on track. Uber cherry 272 Husqvarna. I took the cylinder cover off. We'll take a look at that when the time comes, but the Echo's pretty much warmed up. I'm using the same bar and chain that we were out in the wilds with, falling some trees for my buddy Scott. I haven't done any kind of change yet. It's the exact same bar and chain essentially. We're gonna take a look at the tack and then make some cuts, then maybe we'll talk. Okay, so we got into a little bit bigger cut. It's about 18 or 19 inches, a little bit of a knot. The 272 is going to have the worst of it. This saw is really struggling in stock form. I'm noticing it's just really struggling. That's about all I can say. But if we want to take a look at the 272 for a second, this is one of those barn finds gone good. I have not sprayed that thing off. I have not done anything, air hosed it, nothing. So it's about as cherry as you're gonna get. It has the original sprocket on it. I picked up the outside dog off of another project. That's why it's a little bit rusty. Used in some pine, so it's a little pitchy. There's pitch on it. The guy was pretty old. He didn't use it much. I actually still have the original manual that I picked up with this saw. So you can see that the sprocket has minimal use on it. Like I said, he was pretty old and he didn't really use it much. You can see there isn't any buildup really even on the flywheel. It's really clean if you want to take a look at it. So I thought this would be a good saw to be working against that Echo 72.2, 73.5. This is an over square engine design. It has a 52 millimeter bore and a 34 millimeter stroke. Same thing as what we see in the 462. Honestly, I haven't figured out what that one is because I actually have the IPL and it doesn't state it like what we see on stuff from Steel. Husqvarnas, they don't either. They don't tell you the bore. I just haven't done a lot of research on that saw. I didn't want to skew my opinion in any way. I just been running it a little bit here and there, trying to get a feel for how that thing functions in stock form. And as we watched, it's lagging. I think the 272 is going to put the hurt on it. If I was to bet, that's what I'm saying is going to happen. 16.2 pounds for the 272, 16.8 for the Echo. And the Echo isn't necessarily in West Coast trim. We have the swoop-de-doo on the clutch cover side. The handlebars are gone. I did put some big dogs on it though, because I took it out on a little 4A and I wanted to basically make sure I could do what I needed to do. And if we get into the images, I'm hoping that we can see the production. Echo 16.8. If we take a look at the scales, we can see it says 16.2. However, it's inverted on my less than accurate hand-me-down bathroom scales that are not weights and measures correct, of course. But same time, both of them filled up and ready to cut. So I thought that was kind of interesting. We'll take a pause while I swap out the bar and chain and get the 272 ready to roll. Okay, we're back on the bone stock 272. I had an epiphany, figured I'd pull out the naked bike version of the 272. We saw this last year going against the 500i. I think we saw that anyway. I remember filming it. How's that? But anyway, so if we look at the placard on this 272, it's a 1997 vintage, so it's right at the end of the production run. Pretty sweet ride. Original carb kit. It's like original. So I can't say that enough. So if I had to say so, I'm going to go with the bone stock 272 had a worse go of it. As far as dealing with the knot, we can see that it's over 3 inches longitudinally there on the vector coming off of the That's a pine, essentially pea pine, we call it, vectored off on a radius. It's about getting close to 4 inches across that diagonal there. The Echo didn't have anywhere near the amount of knot to deal with, and I don't know, we're probably on the 4th tank or something like that at this stage of the game. I've sawed here and there with that thing a little bit, and it's struggling hard. But we're gonna tune up the zip version of the 272. That thing started life, at least the bottom end did, as a 268, which they were the same. But I put a new OEM cylinder assembly from a 272 on there, so they're all 3 of these are relatively the same size, I guess, displacement wise. I'm gonna go with that one's gonna win though. So the zip saw ended up, the Zip's 272 definitely had the worst of it as far as the knot section. We're dealing with, visually we can see 4 in the cut coming up. Still did way better speed wise than either one of these stock saws, the stock 272 and the stock 7310, and it's killing them still. So we'll have to zip that Echo and we'll run them again here and see how things compare. Hopefully we'll get a section where there's no knots, so they'll all have a pretty good even Steven, if you will, go at the log, because when you get into the knot section it changes the process considerably, I've noticed. Anyway, thanks for watching this session. Have a blessed day wherever you might be on God's green earth.